Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Violent Universe. It's good to see so many people joining for this first class. So I'm very happy to welcome you to this class. This is actually my favorite class to teach at UCR. I mean, UCR is the only place where I teach, but it's my favorite class because, first of all, it's a class that I created myself. So I got to include all the things in astronomy that I think are the most fun. I love it because I get to think about sort of the basics of astronomy and remember again why I love so much what I do. But there's another reason why I really love this class. And as you'll see later in the lecture, the vast majority of students who take this class are not science majors. We have a lot of students from CHAS, we have some BCOE, we have several from CNAS, but different disciplines, so more like biology and a few chemistry, some things like that. We have some from the Graduate School of Education. So what this means is that you bring a very diverse perspective into this class. I get to have interactions with you, whether it be through chat during class or coming to my office hours, or just the questions that you ask. And for me, what's so much fun is that I get to see the universe through your eyes. I get to see it through a very different perspective from the colleagues that I interact with every day, from other scientists. So I've been teaching this class for a really long time, and I really enjoy it every year. I look forward to it. I teach it once a year, so it's my favorite time of the year. And I'm very much looking forward to getting to know some of you. I mean, there's 400 people in the class, but hopefully I'll get to know a lot of you and get your perspective on the universe. So let me just introduce the class. It's nice to see several faces. So I have a different screen on the side. So when you see me looking on the side, it's because I'm looking at you guys. Let me start with my PowerPoint here. And let me just introduce myself. I guess I didn't do that at the beginning. My name is Gabriela Canalizo, and you can call me Dr. Canalizo, Dr. C, because they say my last name is kind of long, or Professor C, or, whatever you come up with that is, somewhat respectful, I'll be happy with. My email address is there. It's on the syllabus too. And when you email me, I just ask that you include the word or the phrase, the violent universe, in your subject line, so that your email will go to a special box that I make sure that I read. I get hundreds of emails every day. So if you include that subject line, I will be able to see it and it won't get lost in the shuffle. Some of you have been emailing me already and you've been doing that. So thank you for reading the syllabus. Thank you for following the instructions. So lecture will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 p.m. by Zoom. So you're already here, so you know the information. It will be synchronous. I will be recording every lecture and posting it on YouTube. I've done this a couple of times already, teaching the class before this year. And it works pretty well. We were told, professors, that we didn't need to record the lectures anymore. But I think this is a weird lecture because you have some components in person, some components online. And I'm assuming that you guys will be running around from one class to another on campus. And sometimes I can understand how it might be hard to get to this class at 4 p.m., maybe you're commuting or you didn't find a quiet spot on campus to sit down and take the class. So for that reason, I will be recording it and posting it. So lecture is not mandatory. Attendance to lecture is not mandatory. I will not be taking attendance, but I do encourage you to come. I like to look at your messages on the chat. You get to ask questions. I will be posting some polls. So it is a little more fun if you come in person, but it's okay if you don't. Office hours, again, this is a little strange. I didn't know whether to have them in person or online. So I decided to do it online so that everyone can have access to them. So here's the link. It's also on the syllabus. It's also on iLearn. So you can find me on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3 p.m. However, I'm very happy to meet with you in person if you prefer that. So just send me an email, we'll find the time. And in fact, if there's enough demand, if there's enough people who want to meet in person, I will be happy to schedule an office hour in person instead of online. So just let me know. Oh, okay, so hold on. Somebody's telling me that there is a 300-person cap on the Zoom. Thank you for letting me know. I have no idea how to do that. Let me see if there's anything I can. Question, where can I find the syllabus on iLearn? So I'm really sorry. I don't know how to change that 300-person cap without this, without stopping the lecture. So yikes. So for those of you who are watching this after the fact, when I post it, I am very sorry. I will try to fix this over the weekend so that you can join us on Monday. So first come, first serve, you guys are right. So sorry. So sorry about that. So yeah, I mean, I could live stream on YouTube, and maybe that's what I'll do on Monday. The problem is that I don't know how to let them know right now. So I will set it up for Monday. Sorry again. I didn't realize this was going to be an issue. Okay, I have to ask QCR to fix it. Okay, thank you so much for your comments. So I will fix it. All right, so let me just tell you a little more about the instructors of this class. So myself, I will be teaching the main lecture, and you will have a teaching assistant on your discussion section. We have 3 different teaching assistants, Ian, Tim, and Stephen. Here are their pictures. They are all fantastic TAs. They are very advanced astronomy graduate students, so they are about to get their degree. So you're almost getting PhDs for your teaching assistants. Very knowledgeable, very nice people, very good teachers. So you can take a note, maybe you can get a screenshot of this, or actually I posted the lecture notes, the lecture slides, so you can see sections 2, 4, 6, and 16 are for Ian. Tim is teaching 7, 8, 9, and 12, and Stephen is teaching 3, 5, 10, and 14. So you can reach out to them, and if you have any questions about sections, which I will talk about in a minute. Before I get to that, the textbook for this class, this is the great news. The textbook is free. It's online. You don't have to spend any money. And it is recommended. It is not required. But everybody has access to it, so you might as well use it. I've been looking for years for a free textbook, and I finally found this last year, and I've been very happy with it. It's not perfect for the class. It misses a few details that we cover in class, and it goes into too much detail about a few others. But it is good enough. And the fact that you don't have to spend $100 and something for the textbook, I'm sure you will forgive it. So I have put on the syllabus what the different things that we cover in class, which chapters correspond to that. So you can follow that. You can do your reading assignments if you want. If you want to get the most out of this class, I would recommend doing all the reading assignments. But otherwise, what you can do is just use it as, as an aid for your class. If there's something that you didn't get from the lecture, if there's something that you're not quite sure, you don't understand the way that I explained it, and you don't understand the way that your TAs explained it, maybe you can refer to this class, to this textbook. Also, sometimes I don't have time to go into all the details about a certain topic. So maybe you can go into the textbook so that you can read more about it. However, this is my promise, you are only responsible for the material that I cover in class. I will never ask you anything on the tests or in the homework that is in the book and that I didn't cover in class. So, you know, use the textbook as you wish. That's my recommendation. All right, so grading. The grading is going to be consists of quizzes, midterms, and final. The quizzes is 20% of your grade. And the way that it works is every Friday, I give you a set, every Friday except for today, I give you a set of between 10 and 20 short answer questions. So it is a homework, but you do not need to turn it in. The idea is that it'll be questions that cover all the topics that we saw on any given week, and you should go ahead and answer them. But you will keep it as your study guide. It'll be your study guide for your quizzes, for your midterms, and for the final. Yes, is there a question? No. Okay. So on any given Friday, you will get this from iLearn. And like I said, you will have time to work on it. And then the next week, when you have your discussion section, you will have a quiz. So your TAs, let me see, I have it here. So you will bring your assignment to your discussion section so that you can ask questions from your TAs. You can ask them to go over a certain topic again. You can ask them to clarify. You can even ask if you got the answer right. So the TAs will work with you. Hopefully there will be some interaction with your classmates. And then at the end of this, during your discussion section, there will be a closed book quiz consisting of 2 questions from your assignment. So this is like every student's dream, right? You know which questions, I mean, you don't know exactly which ones, but you know more or less what's going to be on the test. And so you will have a quiz every week, except for this coming week, and except for Thanksgiving week. So on Thanksgiving week, we're not going to have quizzes. And in addition to that, you are allowed to miss 1 quiz without excuse. So if you have trouble getting to campus, or you had another commitment or whatever, you can miss 1 without presenting any justification. If you do attend all of your discussion sections and you take all of the quizzes, then what we will do is we will drop your lowest score. And that will be 20% of your grade. Let me check the chat because I have some questions. Discussions are in person, that is correct. 2 questions from the homework, that's correct. And okay, so the question is, won't we be going over the homework? You will during the discussion section. That's what the discussion section is for, so that you can go over all of your homework. You can take good notes. You can see which questions you got right, which ones you got wrong. But the idea is you should have already studied, right? Even though the TAs are going to go over the answers and everything, you're not going to be able to remember it all if you don't study ahead of time. But it is your opportunity. You'll get to see whether you got them right or wrong, and then you will get your quiz. I have been doing this for many years and students love it. I know that it sounds weird, like students loving exams, but the feedback that I get is it helps them to keep up with the class so that they don't put it off. And then when they study for the midterms and for the finals, it's a lot easier. They like that the discussion sections are very useful. And I've only gotten positive feedback about this. So I think people really like. More questions. Are you graded on the polls? No. So the polls are just for fun and for my benefit, because then I get to see if you guys are learning or if there's something that is confusing or that I need to go over again. So, but here's what's benefit to you. So 1, it's entertaining. It keeps you awake. But two, a lot of the times I use the polls as a springboard to write my questions for the midterms and the finals. So if you come to lecture, if you participate on the polls, you might see that it's that the questions, some of the questions in the midterms and the finals will seem familiar. So those are the things that are useful. Question, will the quizzes be multiple choice or written answer? Written answer, no multiple choice. Question, is this class difficult? I'll get to that. It's difficult for some people, very easy for other people. We have the whole range here. So if you don't miss a quiz and attend all the discussion sections, will you drop the lowest score? Yes, that is correct. If you miss a quiz, then we will, well, if you miss a quiz, then you'll get a 0, right? Don't freak out. If you miss a quiz, you will see on iLearn that you got 0, but that 0 will be dropped. So don't worry about that. I'll get to some of your questions later. When will you be given the homework? Every Friday, starting on October 1st, you will find it on iLearn under the homework button. Will I post slides after class? Yes, I post them right before class. So I posted them like 13 minutes before class today, but usually I post them about an hour before class. You do not need to turn in the homework. You will correct your own homework during discussion section. That is correct. Very good. And yes, the discussion sections are in person. So let me just address this. Discussion section is very important because if you don't go to discussion section, you will get a 0 for your quizzes. And then the most that you can get in class is B-. And that would be a tragedy, right? If you get 100% in everything and then you get a B-. So make sure you are able to go to your discussion section. Now, it's not that much of an effort if you think about it. You only have about 7 discussion sections. Like I said, you don't have to go next week. You don't have to go during Thanksgiving week, and you get to drop 1. So really, you only have to attend about 6 times. So just make an effort, make sure you go, and it's an easy 20%, right? I mean, you know what's going to be on the test. You can get that 20%. Do you have to take notes on anything? I recommend that you do. This is why I post the lecture slides before the class. A lot of people like to, download the PDF, and then like some people have iPads or some other tablets and they like to write notes on them. I think it helps to write notes while you attend the lecture, and you retain a lot more. And as I said on the syllabus, the slides don't have all the information that you need. I actually try to put very little writing on the slides so that you won't be like copying, but rather you will take your own notes. Sometimes during class, I actually pause and I give you a minute or 2 to catch up on your notes so that you write everything that you need. And yes, to clarify, there is no discussion next week. So that's actually the next thing here. No discussion sections next week. The lecture slides for today were posted on iLearn. There is a button that says lecture slides. So click on that and that's where you will find them. All right, so midterms. The midterms, there will be 2 of them, and they will be online. They will be multiple choice, and you will take them on iLearn. So they will be limited, time limited. So you will have only 1 hour to do each of them, and they will be on October 25th and November 15th. So those 2 are going to be open book. You get to look at your notes, you get to look at your homework. And then the final will be in person. We don't know where yet. It's probably going to be in the university lecture hall, but I will let you know with plenty of time. So it will be in person and it will be from 3 to 6 p.m. It's also going to be multiple choice. You will have to bring a Scantron. I will tell you exactly which one. And the final will be cumulative. Okay. Oh, okay. So about the midterms. So the midterms online will be open book, like I said. And I will get to a slide later on where I tell you what you're allowed to and what you're not allowed to, but there will be no proctoring. I think you are adults, and I prefer to trust you and prefer to trust that you're not going to cheat. So there will be no proctoring. Midterms are online. Final is in person, sorry. If you write your notes in your iPads, can you use them while taking the midterms? Yes, I'll get to that in a second. So, all right. So grading is done on a fixed scale. There's no curve for this class. And the reason is because the average tends to be pretty high. So if I were to apply a curve, your grade would go down instead of up. So people tend to do very well in this class. And so like I said, I've been teaching it for a long time. So I know pretty well, what's a fair test and what's not. So it'll be the usual 90 to 100% is an A, 80 to 90. Oh, that's a typo. 80 to 89 is a B, and so on. And there's pluses and minuses, the usual grading. The final is not open notes. So yeah, the final is closed note. Okay, I talked about that already. Questions during lecture. Feel free to ask questions. You guys are already doing a very good job of that. And the lecture slides will be posted. All right, so here's what's allowed, what's not. You can read the honor code at the end of the syllabus. In a nutshell, please don't cheat. Don't cheat yourself, don't cheat others, don't make your lives more difficult, don't make my life more difficult. Just be good. My specific expectations for academic integrity in this class, for the homework, you can do whatever you want. You can discuss it with your TAs, you can work together in groups. In fact, if you guys want to set up a Discord or a Slack or any of those platforms online, you're more than welcome to, and you're welcome to work together. I think collaboration can be very good. Some people prefer to work alone, so that's fine. The one thing I do ask you is to not post the answers online. So that is not allowed, no check, none of this. And the reason is because you actually end up hurting other people if you do that. If you post your answers online, there will be a lot of people who don't have time to work on the homework, and they will just go online, they'll grab the answers, they will not think through the questions. And the problem is, I'm going to try really, really hard to make you think when I ask questions. And so if people don't think through the questions, through the answers, they will do very poorly on the final and on the midterms. So, and also, then what's the point of taking the class if they're just going to be copying what others do? So please refrain yourself from posting answers. I consider that cheating. Next. Yeah, okay, so give me a second, I'll get to that. Next, the online midterms. So they are open book. You may consult your textbook, your notes, your iPad, anything that you want. There will be even some questions where I ask you to go to a website. So it is okay to have the internet. What you may not do is communicate with anyone, whether it's by text or phone call, online, in person. You may not communicate, with your siblings or your pets or anyone. You cannot talk to anyone. And you may not consult online forums, right? If you have a Discord or a GroupMe for this class, you may not be on that while you're taking your exam. and you may not post any materials from the exam online. That's all I'm asking. So I think it's very generous. Like I said, I'm not going to be proctoring you. You're not going to have your camera on. I trust you, but please just do this, right? That's all I'm asking. So somebody has done a GroupMe. And they're asking me to share it with everyone. So I think that's a great idea. Let me change so everyone will get the link on the chat. This is not sponsored by me, but you guys are more than welcome to join that. So I just sent you on the chat a link to the GroupMe. Someone else is working on a Discord. So here we go. I'll send it to you guys. And thank you, by the way, for having the initiative to do this. I think it's great. So here we go. So there is the Discord. Yeah, so question, may you use the YouTube videos that I posted during your midterm exams? Yes, you can. However, you may not have time, right? So, I mean, if you know exactly where to go and what to watch, you can do that. But the exams are time limited, and you may not, it may be poor use of your time to go through the videos. I actually just watched a video of one of my lectures right before class, and I tried doing it at 2 times the speed, and it was kind of fun to watch it. But sometimes I speak very slowly, so you might enjoy doing that. It might be helpful. The lecture videos will be posted at the end of each class. Yeah, it takes me a little while to download it, to change the format so I can upload it on YouTube. So it's not immediately after class. It's, maybe an hour or so after class, but I do post them the same day. So if you guys miss the class, then, a couple of hours after class, you'll be able to watch it. Let me make sure that I didn't miss. Okay. So I will give more specific directions about the midterm later, but I have some questions about what to do if there are problems during the midterm. Usually what I do during the midterm is that I open the Zoom for the lecture during the midterm. So that way, if you're having any issues or if you have questions about the exam, you can log on to Zoom and you can send me a chat. And so I can answer questions. Some people, it depends on the bandwidth that you have, if your internet is fast or not. But some people like to have the Zoom in the background. That way they can ask me questions throughout the exam. So let me see. Okay, so I think I addressed all the questions. Very good. All right, for the final is just the normal in-person, closed book, boring type of final. It will be multiple choice. It will be about 100 questions. And yeah, so same as usual. All right, so let me just remind you that, as if you didn't already know, that these are difficult times for everyone. Everyone has gone through a pretty rough year and a half. We're all trying to get used to this, going back to campus, seeing people again, figuring out this hybrid situation. And a lot of people have experienced loss, whether it's loss of a job, loss of a loved one. So it is difficult times. And I just ask you to be patient, be understanding, be kind to your classmates, to your TAs, to your professors. There will be some difficulties in terms of the class, there will be some glitches with the technology or with figuring out this in-person and online hybrid. So I'll just ask you to remember, just be patient, be kind, be understanding. But the other thing I want to ask you is to have fun. right? This is your fun class. You're probably taking a bunch of classes from your major, things that are a lot more demanding. You're taking this class because you wanted to broaden your horizons, right? You wanted to learn about something that is not related to your major. Some of you, you're taking it because it's the only thing that fit on your schedule. That's fine too. But have fun. Try to be inspired, nurture the inner child, right? Ask questions, enjoy the beautiful pictures, enjoy the fun videos, enjoy what we're going to be doing. Yes. So let me, actually, before I get to that, there's a question about, will you have to buy your Scantrons for the final? Yes. They're just a few cents, and I will let you know which one, and I will let you know with plenty of time so that you're not, you're not in a rush to have to buy it. Is attendance for discussion required? Yes, it is, in the sense that there will be a quiz in every discussion section, and if you don't take it, you'll get a 0. Oh, thank you for that information. So ASUCR gives out free Scantrons and blue books around week 9 of finals. Thank you, Bryant, for that. That's great information. I didn't realize that. Yay. Good. All right, so I want to know a little more about you. And so I want to launch a couple of polls. And I just want to know a couple of things. So let me send the first one. So first, I want to know which college or school is your major part of? And so the options are CHAS, CNAS, BCOE, GSOE, Public Policy, Business, and School of Medicine. And then there's a second question, so make sure you scroll to the second one. And the second one is just, what year are you? Are you first, second, third, fourth, or fifth? And so go ahead and answer this. Let's see. Okay. I see that I have 89% of participation. So for the second question, make sure you answer that because I only have about 26% of participation. While you are responding to that, let me just read some of the questions. Good. One of the questions is asking, the final is only MC, but I don't know what. Oh, multiple choice. Yes, it is multiple choice. The final is multiple choice. Okay, let me end the poll, even though not very many people answered the second question. So just so you guys know, whenever it has 2 questions, you're supposed to scroll to the second one before you hit submit. But maybe you can't go back anymore. So let me end the poll and share the results. All right, so this is what this class usually looks like. 65% is CHAS. 23% is CNAS, which it surprises me. The last couple of years, a lot more CNAS people have been taking it. I'm not sure why, but I'm happy with that. We have very few from BCOE, then a few more from GSOE, which is kind of fun because you guys are graduate students and you're taking this class. Very few from Public Policy, School of Business, just a handful, and then School of Medicine. Of course, they're too busy, right? They can't they can't do things for fun. As far as what year, the majority are second years, and then everything else is more or less equally distributed. The first years, so you guys, welcome to UCR. This might be the first class that you take or one of the very first ones that you take. I hope that you will enjoy it. All of you, I hope all of you will enjoy it. Very good. All right. Next question that I wanted to ask you, is this class considered to be a question that you guys ask, is this class considered to be a science class? Yes. So for you guys are all taking this class because it satisfies a breadth requirement. So it is in the different categories of classes that you have to take. This is one of the science classes that you have to take. So yes, that's what it's considered. Let me do another poll of things that I wanted to ask you. And this is just for me to know, how much astronomy do you know? Is it lots? You know, some of you have been watching documentaries ever since you were kids. You love reading the news, or, you know, just what you learn in school, or maybe almost nothing. So I'd like to know how much you know. Okay. All right, I am going to share the results, and you will see that the vast majority of you know just a little bit that you learned in school, or almost nothing. And there's very few of you, right? 7% that knows a lot. So I wanted to, first of all, ask you this and then learn this from you and show you, just so that you see how we have a huge range in this class. What I try to aim this class at is people who are in between, you know, knowing just a little and knowing nothing, and who are from CHAS, because that's the vast majority of our students. So for that reason, we do not do math in this class. When I started teaching it, we did math, and a few people were very happy and a lot of people were very upset. And I realized over the years that people were not learning a lot by doing the math. And so I've been changing the way that I teach this class to the point where there's a point where I make you multiply by 3. That's about it. And instead of using equations, I try to use words. And I try to use things that will be a little more intuitive mostly for humanities majors. This means that some of you will sometimes think that it's a little too basic. Because, you know, especially those of you who are from CNAS, you know what an atom is, you know what ionized means, you know the elements. So I will be giving reminders of that. I will be trying to explain it in very basic terms. So for you guys, it might be a little slow. So please be patient. And, you know, maybe you watch the lecture on YouTube and you fast forward through those parts. But I do try to cater to CHAS students for the most part, and to remind you of things. One of my personal challenges for this class is to reach out to those students who think that they hate science and convince them otherwise. And I love to see in the student evaluations at the end of the term when people say, oh, I used to hate science and now I love it. And that's, you know, that makes my day. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. So that answers a couple of the questions that said, how much math will we be using? Practically none. I will, however, I mean, you guys may not be very good at math. I mean, some of you, but you are smart. All of you are smart. You made it to college, you're here. And so I will appeal to your intelligence and I will make you solve puzzles, right? It's just that we will not use math. All right, so just to finish, I actually don't know what time it is. There it is. Okay, well, we have time. So just to finish this class, let me tell you a little bit about me, just so you know who's teaching you. and where I am coming from. So I was born and raised in Mexico. That's not my house. That's an observatory. That's an ancient observatory from the Mayans. And I chose this picture just to illustrate that there is a long tradition of observing the universe in the culture that I'm coming from. So I am proud to be part of this culture, and I am happy to continue this line of observers, of people who study the cosmos, who figure out, where we came from and what the universe is made of. So if you wonder exactly where, I was born in Cuernavaca, which is a little town south of Mexico City, about an hour south of Mexico City. So I was born there. I was raised through high school. So I went to high school there. After that, I applied to come to college in the US. And I went to college in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, where I got a BS in physics. So when I went there, one of the first things that I started doing was research. And I strongly recommend to all of you that you look for opportunities to do research while you are at UCR. It's one of the biggest advantages of being in a big university, right? I mean, otherwise, why not just go to community college? But when you're in a university, your professors do research, and if you can join them and do any kind of study with them, it'll give you a very different perspective on the stuff that you're learning, and it'll give you a lot more experience. In my case, I didn't know you could be an astronomer. I loved astronomy ever since I was a kid, but I had no idea that you could actually do that for a career. And when I started doing research in college, I realized, oh, you can actually do this for a living. So I finished college. I took a year off actually to do some teaching. And then after that, I went to the University of Hawaii, where I got a PhD in astronomy. So I'm showing a picture of one of the big observatory on Mauna Kea. It's on top of a volcano at 14,000 feet of elevation, so really high up. And most of the times, like this picture shows, it is above the clouds. So you get a very clear, very dark, very stable sky where you can observe very faint things very far away. So like I said, I spent hundreds of nights actually at that observatory collecting the data for my thesis. After that, I moved to the best state on Earth, which is California. And I went to Lawrence Livermore National Lab, where I did a postdoc in astrophysics. I worked with a group that was putting together this thing called adaptive optics, which is a system for telescopes that allows you to get extremely sharp images. I love this picture because it looks like the two Keck telescopes are shooting their lasers at the center of our galaxy. And that's what they're doing, but not because it's Star Wars, but because by shooting those lasers, you can correct the images and get something that is as sharp as the Hubble Space Telescope. So I've been working with the Keck Observatory for many, many years, and with the lasers and all of that. So I was in the Bay Area for 3 years, and I liked California so much that I decided never to move away from California. So I only applied for jobs in California, and that's how I ended up here. So well, one of you is from Livermore. That's right, that's where I lived. So anyways, I like UCR the best. So of all the places that I've mentioned, UCR has been my favorite. That's why I came here to stay. I came many years ago, and I was the first astronomer to be hired into the Department of Physics. Now the department is called Physics and Astronomy. And they gave me the task when I first came to build an astronomy program. So that's what I've been doing for the last not more than a decade. That's what I have been doing. And we now have a very vibrant program. We have about 10 faculty who work in astronomy. We have grad students, postdocs. And like I said, it's been very fun. I love starting things from scratch, and this was great. But I also love the students. So the students here have been my favorite, just like I was talking about a minute ago about the diversity that you guys bring, not just in terms of majors, but backgrounds and even ethnicities and everything else, right? So I love being here, and I'll be here until I retire. And anyways, my areas of expertise are black holes and galaxy evolution. I will be telling you a little bit about my research, as we go along. And actually, just last weekend, I got to go to Keck. So this is the Keck Observatory, and I brought a few students. So these are graduate students getting their PhDs, and they're all excited because we were observing these colliding galaxies, and we'll be talking about colliding galaxies in this class. It doesn't look like much, it looks like a few pixels, but what you're seeing here is most likely, I can't promise yet because we still have to do all the analysis, but what you're seeing is most likely 3 black holes that are coming together. So not the black holes, we'll learn later in the quarter how you can't see black holes, but you can see the stuff around them. So there's here's 1, 2, and 3. So stay tuned. Hopefully by the end of the quarter, I will know for sure if they are black holes or not. And I will let you know. I just got back from the observatory on Tuesday, I think. So these are very recent pictures. How far are they? How far are these black holes? In light years, it would be about 60 million light years away. The observatory is located in Hawaii. So very good. All right, one last thing is that I really love doing outreach. For about 12 years, I participated in a program in Africa, in the country of Malawi, where we work with orphans. And every summer I spent between 2 and 6 weeks over there, just inspiring them, teaching them how there's many things in life, such as science, that they could pursue. Many of these children are actually in college now, and hopefully they will be successful adults. So it's been a real pleasure. I'm no longer part of this outreach program, but I am trying to do other things here. So during this class, I will show you a few videos from my time in Malawi. So that's why I wanted to show you that. All right, so just like I wanted to inspire those children, my main goal for this class is to inspire you and to cultivate curiosity and a sense of wonder. So I hope that you guys can look at the stuff that we learn in class and that you can take a step back and think about it like when you were 5 years old, ask questions. Why is the sky blue? And like some people are asking me in the chat, is it possible that the black holes already merge? And, just ask questions. And if you do that, and if you get a sense for how amazing the universe is, then I will feel like I fulfilled my goal for this class. So that's all that I have in terms of slides. I am just going to finish with a video that was made for this class. It's a 3-minute video, and just hoping to get you excited about the different topics that we will be talking about. Before I do the video, are there any remaining questions? Or in fact, you do have some questions. So before I do the video, how can you find the syllabus on iLearn? There is a button on iLearn that says syllabus. So just click on that and you can download it from there. I have another question. Are there any observatories in California that I recommend visiting? Yes. So if you have never been to Palomar Observatory, that's on the way from here to San Diego. If you take the 215, it's about halfway down. You'll see some signs that say Palomar Observatory. It is beautiful up there. There's wildlife, there's deer. So you have to to drive up to the mountain. And that observatory belongs to Caltech, but they have visits. So they allow visitors. You can take a tour. You can look it up ahead of time so that you know what time they have the tours. And it is really fun to see. And they do a pretty good job giving you a tour. The other place that you can visit that is also very historical is the Wilson Observatory, Mount Wilson Observatory. So if you want to Google that, Mount Wilson Observatory was the place basically where astronomers discovered that there were other galaxies in the universe. So it's very historical. Albert Einstein went to visit. And so they will also tell you stories if you take a tour where they tell you, you know, the things that Albert Einstein said and so on. Mount Wilson Observatory is in the county of LA. So if you are driving toward LA and you look to the right, you'll see the St. Gabriel's, and it's sort of further toward the coast. So it's like a 2-hour drive from here, and also very much worth going. Both places have beautiful surroundings, lots of trees and nature, and very much worth visiting. And then finally, there's the Griffith Observatory, which is not a scientific observatory, but it is for public outreach. That's in LA, and it's also definitely worth visiting. Questions? The question is about one of the discussion sections apparently is in a building called Dundee. And honestly, I don't know where that is, but if you go to the map.ucr.edu and you can search for it, and it will tell you where that is. What's the coolest thing that I've seen while observing? Probably, I mean, and this is just personal preference, I love colliding galaxies. They just look so cool, and you'll see when we get to that topic in class. Have I ever been to the Shabbat Space and Science Center? I haven't, but I think it's also a good place to visit. Do you offer extra credit? I don't. Sometimes in the past I have, and I do very complicated projects for extra credit, but you know, with the online thing and all that, it's just very difficult to do, so I will not. Besides, you don't need it. I mean, study hard and you'll get an A. That's as simple as that. Okay, so somebody is answering the question about Dundee Hall. It is by Glasgow Dining Hall. So thank you for that information. Yeah, so somebody's asking about merging black holes. We will talk about that when we get to black holes, I promise. What's inside a black hole? We'll get to that with the lecture. So if there are no, do I believe in astrology? So good question. So there is something called astronomy, something called astrology. Astrology, you know, if you learn about the history of it, is that at some point, it's kind of like chemistry versus alchemy, right? Alchemy was when they didn't have the scientific method and they needed to figure out how the elements worked. And so it was like a very early attempt to understand chemistry. And then the science came, and then it became chemistry. So in a similar way, astrology was very, very old, ancient attempt at trying to understand the cosmos. And it was not scientific, right? And a lot of astrology was just, you know, trying to, it's like trial and error, trying to use positions of stars and planets to try to predict things. And, you know, as with any of those things, sometimes they turn out to be, I mean, sometimes they coincidentally are right and sometimes they're wrong. Then once we had a way to do things scientifically, then the science of astronomy came. So astrology is still popular, you know, people do like horoscopes and stuff like that. And it's perfectly fine to have fun with it, as long as you realize it is not a science, right? It's just for fun. People just do, you know, horoscopes, and it's you know, it's not based on anything scientific. So as long as you know that, do not confuse astronomy, which is a science, which is testable, which has predictions, real predictions, right? Scientific predictions, to astrology, which is just like for fun. So very good. Okay, you are allowed to leave the class. Of course you are. Anytime. You're allowed to come and go as you wish. All right. So if I will stay around after I show this video. So if you guys have more questions, I'm more than happy to answer them, but I will now show the video. Oh dear, it's 4:55. No wonder people want to leave. Okay, I'll show the video anyways. Sorry that I went over. I got too excited. So let me get to that. Hold on a second. All right. So. Sorry, that didn't work. We're running late and then this doesn't work. Okay, here we go. All right.